wisdom teachers, gentle healers, and bold leaders of our global awakening. Welcome to the Joshua Jordan Experience. Listen to gather mystical insights for an extraordinary life. When you judge another, you do not define them. You define yourself. That is the wisdom of Wayne Dyer. Have you ever felt guilt or shame about judging? Has somebody ever busted you for judging them and you felt embarrassed? Frequently, we judge ourselves. And this is not right or wrong, good or bad, unless we judge judgment as bad and wrong. So Joshua teaches us that there's a treasure to be found in our judgment. What if we accept the gift of judging? That's right. According to Joshua, judgment is a gift. Your judgment is the basis upon which you have your empathy, your intuition, your compassion, and so much more. It is our judgment that keeps us connected. So, Joshua has a very different way of looking at judgment from what you've been taught before. New Age leaders and religions have given judgment a really nasty reputation. You've been taught, don't judge, or you're not the judge, or you're judging me, and judging is bad. You know, some disguise judgment as discernment. I have sat through a couple of sermons where I've heard a minister admonishing us not to judge. But it is wise to use discernment. The discernment somehow has good intentions. Well, you know, discernment is nothing more than a synonym for judgment. And so disguising judgment in a gentler, more spiritually accepted word is manipulative. So using another word for judgment allows us to continue to go on believing that judgment is bad while discernment has good intentions. And Joshua teaches us that the word judgment has equally good intentions. Believing that judging is bad, we promote the idea that there's something wrong with human nature. Because guess what? You're going to judge about as often as you breathe. So it's my opinion that shameful judgment about judgment has been handed to us through religion, morality, and spirituality. And many accept this belief that judgment is bad as the truth. So judgment can become an obstacle for us, and here's how that happens. If I forget, or shall we say when I forget, that all of my judgment defines who I am. All of my judgment defines who I am. That's when I have forgotten the function of judgment and I have fallen asleep and I start to imagine that you and I are separate and somehow I can judge you as something separate from myself. But living in oneness, I know I cannot judge you and you cannot judge me. You see, there's only one being here. Every judgment made reveals only who I am. It's all about me, and it was never about you to begin with, even if it sounded that way. My judgment tells me what is right and wrong for me, not for everyone else. You see, my judgment is effective when I keep it at home and use it to judge what is right and wrong for Jordan and no one else. You see, your judgment is not about me either. You cannot judge me. And yet, some people go about pretending they're judging others. But I will tell you that this habit of pretending that we're judging others, that's where there can be a problem. You see, this habit of believing I'm judging others creates blockages in my own energy flow. Uh-oh. Yes, pretending that I am judging you blinds me to my whole self and blocks up my energy. So to clear that out, I forgive myself and let it go. So, pretending that I'm judging others, I forget who I am. Do I judge myself harshly? Do I judge myself as lesser than or greater than another? Do my judgments block my compassion and my empathy for myself or for other people? Do I permit my judgment to create us versus them vibrations in our reality? Is my attention present or have I fallen asleep? You see, when I am awake, my judgment is a teacher that I heed. I am grateful for my judgment as it reveals to me my core beliefs. And this is where Joshua's teaching for me has differed greatly from other New Age philosophy or other teachers who claim to be teaching you New Age spirituality. I will be honest with you. I have studied Eastern philosophy, and I have found that what is being passed off as New Age philosophy is just Eastern religion being rehashed for the West. So Joshua's teaching about judgment differs very greatly from Western religion and New Age philosophy. And that is that judgment is a gift, not something to be ashamed of or shunned. That I do need to pay attention. You see, if I judge myself harshly, I am inviting feelings of guilt and shame into my energy field. And feelings of shame and guilt in themselves are not good or bad. They just are. We're meant to feel them and let it go. What becomes a problem with guilt and shame is if it gets stuck so that you're holding on to it, ruminating over it, keeping it stuck in your energy body. And then from energy body, it transmutes into physical energy and can create physical ailments. So that's why emotional energy needs to keep moving, making sure we're not blocking it up as it tries to flow through. And if I'm listening to my judgment tell me who I am, rather than thinking I'm actually judging that guy over there, then my energy will keep flowing. You know, sometimes it's true. We all hold up our own little book of law and judge ourselves to be guilty. You know, maybe I broke a promise and I feel guilty about that. Stuff happens. So what do we do? You know, my feelings are here to teach me something. So if I feel guilt, there's a reason for it. And all of my feelings meant to teach me how to feel it now and release it. So the path toward letting go of guilt is forgiveness. So I feel guilty over something I did. I forgive myself completely and start again. And forgiveness is often a process. We can talk about that at some other time, but don't be surprised if it comes up again and you forgive yourself again and on you go. So this is a moment right now where it's time for us to learn that our judgment is our teacher, and that if we listen to it and pay close attention, there's a great deal to learn from what my judgment is telling me about who I am. This is the moment right now for us to grow beyond the guilt and the shame of our nature to judge and cultivate our awareness that my judgment is teaching me who I am, and I need to listen to it very carefully. And the next time someone busts you for judging them, well, guess what they're doing? That's right. They're judging you. So just let it roll away, roll off. So I came up with some tips that help me stay at peace with my judgment. So first, surrender to it. The battle's over. There's no need for shame or guilt, and I make no effort to hide it. Pushing my judgment into shadow only hijacks my authenticity, and I want to be real. Number two, I try to remember this in every moment of now, but I forget. My judgment tells me who I am. I cannot judge you, and you cannot judge me. And listening to my judgment allows me to be present and gather the jewels within it. My judgment speaks of my values, my morals, and my beliefs. And I want to pay close attention. You see, understanding my beliefs is how I create my reality. So knowing what I believe is important to me. Listening to my judgment teaches me who I am. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So listen to this one, huh? What if I said, how can she go out dressed like that? What am I saying, really? I'm not judging her. It's not about her or how she's dressed. But what I am saying is, I would not be able to go out in public dressed like that. I would feel too embarrassed. You see? And just keep it at home. That's where the judgment belongs. I wouldn't go out dressed like that. I would feel too uncomfortable or embarrassed. Now, is my judgment inhibiting me? Imagine it's a hot day, but cowboys don't wear short pants. Shorts are for city boys. So, is my judgment making me uncomfortable? Heck yes, I wear shorts. So, here's another example. My office is a disaster. There's clutter everywhere. Who am I judging? Me, of course. And what am I saying, though? That right now the level of clutter in my office is making me uncomfortable. Am I going to let it continue to make me uncomfortable? Or am I going to do something about it? You see, just by listening to my judgment, I can get real clear on who I am, what I want to do. So, the third point is to remember that my judgment is the source of my intuition. Don't forget that. My judgment is the source of my intuition. So I want to keep that power turned on and way up because being empathic is important to me. Feeling how you feel or being intuitive about a situation where something just doesn't feel right. That all comes from your judgments. And when you turn your judgment off or tell yourself, I don't judge, you are actually weakening your intuition and you are weakening your empathy. So please, just listen to your judgment and know that it's about you and it's telling you what's right and wrong for you in the moment. Your judgment is your intuition. Don't shut that off. So, your judgment is also that flash of insight that you get. It's knowing more than what is immediately obvious, and that comes to you through your judgment. Has this ever happened to you? You have a chance encounter with a friend and you ask, how are you? And you get back this half-hearted and very weak, I'm fine. Your judgment tells you that she isn't fine. And you also need to depend on your judgment because based on how well you know this individual or the timing of the moment, the surroundings, the environment, your judgment will inform you on how to proceed. Of course, if you know the person well, you want to inquire what's really going on. Or if the situation isn't right, you want to make a mental note to follow up with her later and find out how she's really feeling. So yes, it's not uncommon for us to respond to a question of how are you with I'm fine, even if it's not the truth. But our friends who are intuitive, they have their judgment turned on, will know when it's just a casual answer and not the whole truth. 4, I came up with the idea that judgment allows me to make wise decisions. Yes, call it discernment, call it evaluation, call it risk assessment, call it analysis, call it whatever you wish. Your judgment is an important element in your decision making. So keep your judgment turned on. And finally, of course, I thought apply unconditional love. So when I catch myself casting judgments on others or myself, I want to remember to apply unconditional love in that situation and just be gentle with myself. Okay, I am going to set myself aside to the best of my ability and let Joshua speak to you now. Hello. It is my joy and my honor to be here speaking to you again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time and attention. For I have things to share with you that I think could make your day brighter. And also the fact that I am a teacher to some of you. You are waiting for me. You've been looking for me. I am here now. Be sure to tune in to and catch Jordan, and we will connect with you in a much more personal environment. Today, I understand that Jordan was talking to you about our teachings around the subject of judgment. There has been a great misunderstanding handed down through Western religion and Western culture that shunning your judgment is somehow good behavior. There is a misunderstanding in that because, as I believe you have heard from Jordan, your judgment is the source of other senses that you rely upon daily for making good evaluations, even immediate decisions in a situation, if it is safe or unsafe. You need your judgment for that. So when you are ashamed of judging or feel guilt about judging and you start to heap this energy upon yourself, this is not freedom. We are promoting freedom. I want you to be as comfortable with your judgment as you are with taking your next breath. Your judgment comes naturally to you, and it will always be there for you. So surrounding it with guilt or shame is actually an obstacle in your energy flow rather than a benefit. If you are concerned about being a harsh judge and judging others harshly, then take a look at yourself. It's not that human nature to judge is bad or wrong. Take a look at yourself. What is your canon of beliefs that allow you to make such assessments? And are you too hard on yourself? We all make mistakes and we all judge ourselves as guilty sometimes. And when we are guilty, then we have a punishment, yes? We know we must make amends. We know we must somehow improve on the situation. You can begin with an apology, always, and make it sincere. And learn to forgive yourself. Learn to let yourself be wholly human without fear, shame, or judgment. Being human is not a crime. It is certainly not a sin. You have nothing to be forgiven for by a deity. You need to forgive yourself so that your energy flows more fully, more freely, with joy. I do not care how you judge me, for your judgment defines who you are. So what you think of me and what you think of your neighbor is truly just a reflection of yourself. May you learn to speak all of your judgments in the mirror, for that is truly the nature of reality. I love you, and I bid you good day. Thank you for listening. We hope you heard something to ponder and gained inspiration for your journey. Please join us again next time. Joshua says, let the light grow, let love show, and let your life be fun.